Hey, Expediting with Lucy here, and I'm once again making a video from the forest here, the woods, right next to the Fuller Lake Rest Area. I came down here Friday. I had two teasers on the way down here, one for New Jersey, which was 1,000 miles, and one for Calexico, California, which is the California-Mexico border. Would have been 2,100 miles, would have been awesome either way, but didn't get them. So I spent all day Saturday sitting here. Didn't even get a teaser, which blows. And now it's Sunday, and if I didn't get a teaser or a load yesterday, I know I'm not getting one today. So I'm going to be stuck here for another day. This will be 3 nights at this rest area sleeping, but this is the nature of the job when you're expedite. Sometimes, you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes the game gets rained out. There's no pattern to it. So this is only the second time this has happened to me where I've actually been stuck for a weekend. But what I like to talk about now is personal defense. And I have one of my videos out there. It talks about where to park, where not to park. And if you pull in somewhere and it just feels wrong, you just, no, leave, go somewhere else. You know all the options. I gave you a list of places to go and what to look for in your backup plans. When I first started out, I think it was Nashville, there was a Pilot Flying J listed right in the middle of town, and I was doing a pickup in the middle of town. And I drove in there, and it was, nope. It wasn't a real Pilot. It was, they bought somebody's gas station, put their name on it, and just a little rinky-dink 7-Eleven kind of setup. And it was right in the middle of town, and there were nefarious characters walking around. The place was a dump, and I just went, And I left town, went about 30 miles out of town, and found a Pilot that was nice and clean and isolated. And kind of isolated is kind of the key word. That's one of the reasons I'm at this rest area is the Pilot in town was just north of here was okay for a shower, but I didn't want to spend the night there. So for personal defense, I have talked to many truckers over the years, and apparently a lot of them carry firearms, which I don't know the laws from state to state and the legalities. I didn't want to mess with that. But I have other assorted weapons. Some people carry those little tire bats, which work, and a knife of sorts. But one of the devices I carry is this gigantic bottle of pepper spray, and this isn't one of these little bitty ones you put on your key ring. This one's big. And this doesn't shoot a vapor, it shoots a stream. I know from using it, it shoots a stream kind of like not roach spray, but like hornet spray. It's a stream, like 15, 20 feet. And I did a delivery, and I don't remember where I was, but I went to a yard in the middle of a big city, kind of industrial area, and I had like 2 hours to blow, and I was tired. And I drove around, and there was one gas station. It was really a nice gas station in a really bad area, and the people who were operating it didn't care. Parking lot was trash, the inside was trash, the people milling around there were trash. It was just a bad spot, but I was only right down the street, 2 hours to waste. So I tried to get a nap, so I parked over by the automatic car wash, which of course was broken, and I followed my policy of parking under a light, kind of away from everybody, and I kind of pulled up and tried to illuminate where I was, and I put all my blinders up, which I normally don't do, and I laid down. I found this out. The Ford Transit has this thing that if somebody walks up and pulls on your door handle, the brake light will come on, even with the vehicle shut off, which I thought was weird. But I was laying, I had my head down, like right here, and right there I heard click, and my eyes popped open. I looked over at the dash, and the brake light was on, and I sat up, and where my blinder was up, there was this little tiny gap, and I watched movement right in front of the van go by, and I grabbed this, and I sat up by the slide door right over here next to me, and I unlocked the slide door, and I waited, and sure enough, the passenger door went click, and I yanked the door open, and there was a guy standing there looking at me rather surprised, and I hit him center of mass with this and pulled it up into his face and dumped it, and he was so stunned by me appearing and by what I was doing, he didn't move for like 2 seconds. He ate more of this than any human should have to consume, and I promise you he didn't like it. And I don't think I've heard a man scream like that in my entire life. And he backed up, clawing at his face and screaming and hooting and hollering, and I just closed the door and locked it, took my blinders down and my sleep clothes, and drove over to the drop point, and I went in there. I said, "Hey, dude, I just had to spray some guy at the gas station." And the guy running the place said, "I just parked over there." And I was like, "Ah, cool, thanks." And that was the end of that. So I bought another one. But you got to defend yourself. You have to protect yourself. And this is a policy that I've had my entire life. Do not point or threaten or mimic or try to impress somebody with a weapon. Don't do that. If you're going to defend yourself, The first time they should know you're armed with anything is when you're using it on them. Don't warn them. Don't try to scare them off. Don't do that, because you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what their backup is. You don't know what they're armed with. You need to do what you have to do to get away from them and depart the area. That's all you can do. If they're stirring the pot, leave. If they're stirring the pot violently, you need to leave. If they physically put their hands on you or touch you in any way, then it's game on. It's fair game. And do what you have to do to protect yourself. Because these people are everywhere. The bad guy doesn't come at you snarling with fangs. He comes out with a smile on his face usually. So just be aware of that. Other than that one instance in my 170-something thousand miles of driving, that's the only person I've actually run into that has tried something. But I think I'm probably more immune to it than most people because of my size. I mean, I'm not this big, scary guy, but I am 6'4", and I'm right there tipping at 300 pounds. So if somebody comes up at me and they see me moving their way, they have a tendency to go, I think I'll find me a softer target because I'm bigger than most people. And they just automatically just go, and that works to my advantage. But when you're in a van with your blinders up in your sleep, they don't know who's in there. They just assume it's a van. And there are a few women out here doing this, not many, and I would imagine they're more vulnerable. And if somebody saw a handful of vans and a woman walking around, they may look at one and think, well, I guess it was, maybe it was that one or something. I don't know. But this pepper spray, those little tire bats, they sell them at the truck stops. And they're supposed to be to check the pressures on your tires. Have something. Have what you think is right. Have what you feel comfortable with. And have it and not need it versus need it, not have it. I mean, just have it with you, and have it close by and know how to use it. That's just to protect yourself. And if you do get into a situation like that, do what you got to do and leave. Don't hang around. Don't wait for him to, play the victim and call the police. And don't wait for him to go get backup or to go grab a weapon. Just drive off. Go somewhere else and just leave. Don't be around in the aftermath when the guy's, now he's mad. Now he's going to get back at you because you outmaneuvered him at his game. Just leave. And just be conscious of that at all times. When you're getting gas, I leave the driver's door open. On the Transit, the gas cap is right there. It's right next to the door. You actually have to open the door to open the gas cap. I lock the doors, and I don't walk away from the van. And when I'm done, I don't even shut the engine off. When I'm done refueling, I go park and lock it. Don't leave your van unlocked, because that time, occasionally you'll have people that'll literally pull up in a car, run over to the passenger side of your vehicle, yank open the passenger door, grab whatever's there, and jump back in the car and drive off with their buddy, and before you even realize they're there. And that happens in waves. So if your whole vehicle's locked up, you're pretty safe that way. But just be on the lookout. Keep your head on a swivel and just assume. And remember, not everybody out there is friendly. They may look friendly, but they're not. Just something to think about as I spend another day at the Fuller Lake rest area in the woods, looking around. Wonder if Bigfoot's going to make his show. I heard him last night. Or two of them. All right, Expedite with Lucy. I'm out.